Crashes, fires, possessed animatronics, and unwarranted picture taking. Disney World may look like a well-oiled machine most of the time, but the most magical place on Earth is far from being magical 24/7. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I got a fun one for you today. We're talking about those bizarre Disney World fails that Disney probably wants to keep swept under the rug, but we'd rather put them under the spotlight again. Whether it's news-breaking drama, projects that just didn't take off, or situations we're still trying to figure out in the parks up to present day, Disney's built themselves quite the history of ups and downs. But much like in America's Funniest Videos episode, we can use these situations to not just laugh and reminisce, but to learn a thing or two along the way. What, have you never used an AFV video as a cautionary tale? That's literally the reason why I refuse to carry a carton of eggs up my driveway when it's icy outside. Okay, let's talk about some super messy misspellings. The fact that this Disney mistake got as far as it did honestly shocks me, but it is hilarious. Who remembers the real creepy Keister Coaster clown water slide that used to exist over at Disney's Boardwalk and Resort? If you don't, it's probably because you've repressed it from your memories, since the red-haired, red-nosed nightmare fuel that's eyes actually lit up at night was something I still can't believe I willingly slid down on multiple occasions. But back in 2019, the Luna Park pool underwent a major refurbishment to banish the wild-eyed clown and replace the design with something a little more Disney-fied. Though the Keister Coaster name for the slide still remained, the new design that you can experience when you stay at Boardwalk Inn today features Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy slip-sliding down something a lot less bozo-like. Staying true to its origins, Imagineers wanted to make sure guests knew the slide was still called the Keister Coaster, so they added the name to the painting right under Mickey Mouse. However, when Disney was sharing sneak peek photos of the slide, there was a major problem followers started pointing out. Keister was spelled wrong, and this, kids, is why the I before the E except after C rule is a misleading one. Fortunately, this was an easy fix, and they played it off well in their Instagram, saying, "We're feeling a little goofy about a typo." It was genuinely precious, no harm, no foul, but they did paint the whole thing wrong the first time. Now, this next one wasn't necessarily a fail on Disney World's part. It was kind of cool, but there were a lot of fails that happened within it. A never-ending day at the Disney parks sounds pretty great at first, but when you put it into practice, it's chaos. Back in the day, both Magic Kingdom and Disneyland had 24-hour Disney days, where the park would open up at 6 a.m. and stay open until 6 a.m. the very next day. The events happened around the end of May as a celebratory kickoff to summer vacation. They also had specific themes, like, for instance, the 2015 Coolest Summer Ever event, which brought in Anna, Elsa, Olaf, and Kristoff to party hardy while the Frozen movie would play on repeat in Tomorrowland throughout the course of the night. There was also the 2013 Monstrous Summer, themed after the release of Pixar's Monsters University. So you know that feeling when Christmas and New Year's Eve, where you're just kind of floating through the days, still on winter break, but not quite sure what to do next? That was pretty much the vibe in the parks come 3 a.m. Some guests would hop on the People Mover and wouldn't get off. They'd just loop around and around in a sleepy stupor. This is also back when PhotoPass still had a card system, so some PhotoPass photographers would catch guests passed out in funny places around the park, take a quick picture of them, and leave a PhotoPass card next to the guests for them to check out later when they woke up. And places like the Lunching Pad would start selling breakfast around 4 a.m. because who doesn't want 4 a.m. scrambled eggs in the middle of Tomorrowland? Disney hasn't done a 24-hour event in a hot minute, but as bizarre as they were, many people have a strange sense of nostalgia for them. The closest you can get to one of these late-night events now are Disney's after-hours parties. Recently, it was announced that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party will be returning to Magic Kingdom for the spooky scary season, and the separate ticketed event will run between August 12th through October 31st, and it's going to let guests trick or treat, watch the Boo to You parade, and meet dressed up Disney characters from 7 p.m. until midnight. It's no 24-hour event, honestly. I think my body would never forgive me if I put it through a 24-hour Disney day now, but at least it's something. So, Maleficent has a way of making a statement, even if it's not in the way Disney intends her to make it. Back in May of 2018, Magic Kingdom's Festival of Fantasy parade was floating along down its parade route, per usual, when the 26-foot-tall steampunk Maleficent dragon burst into flames. You see, this ginormous float not only looks cool, but it has a fabulous fire-breathing feature to really bring the villainous dragon to life. But during this unfortunate happenstance, the fiery effect backfired. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the cast member operating the float was able to quickly evacuate. This might have knocked Maleficent down for a while, but she got back up again, fire-breathing functions and all. After the Disney park closures in 2020, Festival of Fantasy stayed dormant for a bit there, but returned to the Magic Kingdom in March of 2022. Today you can see the dastardly Sleeping Beauty villain alongside the Frozen sisters, the Snuggly Duckling Gang, and the Under the Sea float twice daily around 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. And of course, Maleficent is there, and she's on fire, but in a good way. So Disney World's supply issues these past couple of years have been pretty intense. We're talking Christmas merchandise releasing way after Christmas, menus running low on popular Disney snacks, and even brief concerns about Run Disney medals not arriving on time for the big springtime surprise weekend event, which thankfully they did. But still, Disney was concerned enough that the prizes wouldn't arrive that they had to send out an email to all participants as a bit of a heads up just in case the medals didn't make it on time. But one of the big supply delays that Disney just can't catch a break with lately are those ding-dang, as Drax would put it, festival prizes for the Epcot Scavenger Hunts. Last year, when Festival of the Holidays was spreading good tidings and great joy throughout the World Showcase, guests could purchase an Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition game board, track down the hidden Olafs around the 11 pavilions, and redeem the completed game board for a festive prize. And that festive prize ended up being whatever Disney could get their hands on. What the prize was supposed to be were these Frozen-themed decorative plates, but what they wound up being were lanyards, lanyard pouches, pins, and even a Mickey-themed mini kitchen sink, which usually comes with specialty ice cream sundaes. You'd think ice cream would have at least come with it as an extra job well done, right? But no, these were just random giveaways. The official prizes didn't arrive until mid-December, meaning Epcot was still giving the plates away come Festival of the Arts season throughout January and February, and Epcot was still giving away those leftover Frozen holiday plates for the latest Spike the Bee's Pollination Exploration Scavenger Hunt. That being said, it seems for now that the official Flower and Garden prize is now available for guests, and that prize is your choice of a character-themed reusable container. You can participate in the Flower and Garden Scavenger Hunt or any future Epcot Scavenger Hunts by asking for a game board at Creation Shop, World Travelers, or Disney Traders. Game boards are $9.99, and you can choose to grab the prize before or after you complete your search and find. Hey, listen, you bought your prize already, all right? You have the right to claim it whenever you want to feel like a winner. So what makes a dark ride work? Well, it's the animatronics. And what makes a dark ride hysterical? Also the animatronics. Animatronics are complex pieces of tech that bring our favorite characters to life. So when an animatronic isn't working the way it's supposed to, it can pull us out of that suspension of disbelief for a second. Instead of being fully immersed in the story, we're suddenly like, oh, the ride, it's broken. And animatronic failures can happen no matter how old or new the ride is. We've seen John over at Carousel of Progress in Magic Kingdom completely lose a hand, but we've also seen Kylo Ren at Rise of the Resistance in Disney's Hollywood Studios break his back. Pressure of the dark side, probably. But one of our favorite animatronic fails, yes, that's right, we have favorite fails, has to be when Donald refused to be found at the end of the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros ride in Epcot. So the whole story behind the ride is that Panchito and Jose can't find Donald, so they're traveling all around Mexico to track him down, while Donald continues to partake in his usual shenanigans. But the grand finale of the ride is the Three Caballeros all reunited on the stage and singing their famous Three Caballeros theme song. But at the beginning of 2021, Donald just wasn't having it. He refused to take the stage and instead let a plant understudy take his place. Yes, it was a literal plant, my friends. At least the plant could pull off the sombrero. Although this little switcheroo made reporters want to ride this little boat ride over and over again just to say hello to Plant Donald, it was nice to see Donald decide to take the stage again after being out of commission for a few months. If you want to hang out with these birds of a feather during your next visit, just make your way to the Mexico Pavilion. This is usually a ride you're not going to have to wait more than 10 minutes to get on, so it's a nice alternative for when the rest of the park lines are reaching sky-high wait times. Sadly, you probably won't get to see Plant Donald. It's time for Skyliner shenanigans. You're in a sky gondola flying over to Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, lickety-split. What's the worst that can happen? Usually not much, but a long line to get on or rain delay. But when the Skyliner first opened, guests had lots bigger concerns to deal with. The Disney Skyliner opened in 2019, and it was a game changer for guests staying at the hotels on its route. It also made things a lot easier for guests who wanted a park hop between the two parks without having to wait forever and a day for a Disney bus to take them to and fro. But not too long after the Skyliner opened, it experienced its first gondola collision. Yep, the collision happened on the Epcot route, causing passengers to be stranded for 3 hours before they were finally evacuated. Fortunately, the Skyliners have emergency packs under the gondola seats that guests could use in the meantime, which include cold packs, bathroom bags, notepads, and water. And even more fortunately, everyone made it off the Skyliner A-OK. Since that major incident, there have been 2 other less major collisions. The second one happened in April of 2021 at the Disney's Hollywood Studios station. But this particular bump in the road, or rather bump in the line, didn't keep the Skyliner down for the count. The glass was swept up and the gondola system was back up and running just a couple hours later. And the third crash happened 2 months later at the Epcot station, which stranded guests for 30 minutes until they were safely escorted off the transportation system. Normally, the Skyliner is pretty reliable, and these are definitely just a few anomalies out of the many, many times this service runs as it should. But if you ever find your Skyliner's been delayed, don't panic and assume something's crashed or gone wrong. Frequently, the Skyliner will need to stop motion for a second or two to help assist guests onto their gondola or to let more gondolas onto the line. So a little pause here and there during your journey doesn't automatically mean you're stuck. Thank goodness. How long can you hold your breath for? Long enough to enjoy the big blue world to its fullest? Well, it's time to talk about a big pool fail. Guests staying at Disney's Art of Animation used to be in for a real treat when they jumped into the splish-splashing waters of the hotel's Finding Nemo-themed big blue pool, which, fun fact, is the largest pool on property. And no, we're not counting the multiple pools over at Yacht and Beach's Stormalong Bay, because that's cheating. If you swam underwater, you used to be able to listen to music and hear Nemo and friends talk to you. Bria remembers wanting her family to book a room there just to experience this. She was one of those kids who keep their head down and just wait for the music to end so she could catch Dory telling her to just keep swimming. Unfortunately, the underwater speakers had to be removed from the pool during one of their seasonal refurbs because of safety concerns. Everyone really wanted to hear the fish talk, okay? And that's not safe. But did you know there's still a place on Disney World property that has an underwater audio system? You're not going to find it at a Disney-owned resort, but if you decide to book a ritzy stay at Four Seasons Orlando at Walt Disney World Resort, which is about 4.5 miles away from Epcot, you can take a dip in their family pool while listening to some piped-in under-the-sea tunes, and you can just pretend the cast of Finding Nemo is rocking out alongside you. Okay, now it's time to talk about when Disney decided to race babies. Disney World likes to go through phases, like adding Cheeto dust to food to make it taste better, or having meet and greets for characters you're really not expecting to see in Disney, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ace Ventura. But then there were those Disney World trends that were pretty short-lived, like when Disney tried to make baby racing a thing. Jack's Diaper Dash was all the rage there for a while on the Disney Cruise Line ships, but the event also made its debut over at Magic Kingdom during the incredible Tomorrowland Expo back in 2018. This event was inspired by Pixar's The Incredibles, and much like the 24-hour events, was a way to celebrate the kickoff of the summer season. You could be part of a super party time dance party, take a picture with the sinister Omni-Droid machine, and eat a super stretchy burger that was made with mozzarella sticks and was actually really good. But during Jack's Diaper Dash, you could register your baby in a crawling race against other babies to see who came out on top as the ultimate racing baby. The concept was cute, but the execution was not foolproof. The babies were usually pretty overwhelmed by the whole thing, so some were crying, some crawled in the opposite direction, some just sat there and didn't do a thing, but every baby still earned a round of applause by the end of the, quote, race. So big follow-up question for you. Does Disney still celebrate the summer season with specialty events like they used to? Well, kinda, yeah. If you hit up Disney's Typhoon Lagoon this summer, you can snag a ticket for H2O Glow Nights. This summertime event lasts from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Saturday night from May 28th to August 27th. You'll not only get to pump up the party with a DJ dance party, glowing wristbands, and exclusive snacks, but you'll also get to ride all the rides with little to no wait times, but there are no racing babies. Next, of course, we have to talk about Decapitated Chipmunks, which is actually, it's better than it sounds, I promise. So mini ears and Disney-fied headbands are a staple accessory of the Disney parks. Some are super classy, some are super expensive. You have to take out a loan just to get them. But not every mini ears release is a banger, as the hip kids say, like the beheaded Chip and Dale headband, for instance. Chip and Dale are cute, but why? Why would you do this? And then there's that Grogu with his tasty blue frog friend just chilling on a headband. But Grogu looks like he's been through it, and this little guy has got his whole body attached. And there are some ears that just look really low budget, you know? Not all Disney accessories are going to be your cup of tea. And what we might not connect with, like Decapitated Chipmunks, could be something you totally find yourself connecting with. But here's something we can all agree on. If you're wanting a pair of mini ears or a fun Disney character headband, check the Shop Disney website first and see if you can find it on sale before dropping the full $30 on a pair inside the parks. You might also be able to find some really good designs over at the Disney Character Warehouse locations outside the Disney bubble, since those shops receive overstocked and discounted official Disney merchandise quite a bit. So that's a wrap. One last note, though, Disney World might be frustrating at times to figure out, or flat out jarring when something doesn't go the way you, or honestly Disney itself, expected. But the Imagineering, the cast member interactions, and the state-of-the-art storytelling keep those parks thriving even during times when they stumble over their own 2 feet. Be sure to list your favorite Disney fail below. We can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.